IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Okay, Monday morning and brand new week under the cloud of lockdown. So happy, giving up clothes, sitting here under a small staircase and trying to ponder about life. Before we bring in our two other philosophers, I want to quickly say, so they've come up with a new thing now in Mumbai, especially Mumbai, I think it's only Mumbai. You'll have to get stickers, colored stickers on your car if you step out. I think red will cover most of the medical facilities, animal welfare, that kind of thing. And yellow will be for essential services, which I've never understood what is and what isn't, because it's all relative. Having said that, I've understood why we've got these colored, and then the police have said that you have to provide yourself with this colored cutouts. You do it yourself at home. They don't have time. They're very busy with all the things that they're doing. So please find your own little colored thing, cut it out, and front and back of the car, put red, yellow, green, blue, whatever colors you like, and explain why. It's pretty simple. So I was thinking there must be a rationale to it, because simply by doing this, will the pandemic go away? Will it really make a huge dent in numbers? Will it help the society becoming more robust and immunity going up and vaccination drive going to a successful level? I'm not sure if they can correlate these two issues. So there must be another reason, because intelligent people do this, not idiots. So here's my thinking. My thinking is that everybody's feeling bad that Holi was a washout. Here, in your own way, you can do a little bit of coloring by coloring your car with different colors and then having a chat with the policeman or whoever stops you and discussing the colors. So I feel it's a little slice of Holi coming back so that you don't feel so bad about the fact that our festivals just keep getting nixed because of the pandemic. So folks, find yourself lots of colored paper, cut out different colors, keep them ready. If you're not sure what you are, you can always argue with the cop. देखिए मैं तो medical student हूँ, मगर अभी साल का cancel हो गया exam, तो I can't get my medical degree. तो obviously एक साल के बाद मैं आपको दिखाएगा, तब तक red जिंदाबाद.
Come learn and experience the ABCDs of being queer with me, Shunetro,
and me, Farhad,
on our show Gay BCD.
The two of us take you through our stories and experiences of being gay men in the city of Mumbai and have candid
and sometimes downright scandalous
conversations about sexuality, gay culture, and everything in between.
Catch new episodes of Gay BCD every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get all your podcasts from.
All right, let's welcome our friends, Silverie, Amit. I love all this little stuff that goes on, you know. I'm thinking there are people sitting in a big room, 10, 15 educated ministers or bureaucrats, and they have a conversation and they say, yes, ek hi ilaj hai, colored paper. Once we put colored paper in cars, and less people will drive their cars, and that's it, pandemic is solved.
But aren't you supposed to get the paper from the police station?
You're supposed to get a pass of sorts, but they said, can you make your own colored paper? So it's a little confusing. As in, then you have to go and apply for the pass. The relevant pass is not the paper. The relevant pass is, Amit Doshi is a provider of care to an elderly person. So he gets a yellow pass. That you have to get.
That is insane, because what I read was that basically the police station will give you a sticker for you to put into your window. That makes a certain amount of sense, right? Because then the cops can tell, okay, this is an emergency vehicle, this is this vehicle, this is this vehicle. Okay, some logic, not too much, but some logic. A single sticker would work just as well. But if they're telling you to make your own sticker,
pals of mine who've applied for the pass, we'll come back to the sticker. Well, there are no passes left. So they've all been told to apply after Friday. So that's the first disaster. They've run out of passes. Okay, that's the first. Second is, I'm telling you, you're supposed to carry your own colored paper and then match it to the relevant pass so that when they stop you, you have to have this conversation. Hello sir, कैसे हो? मैं बीमार नहीं हूँ. ये COVID certificate colored देखो. अभी ये देखो essential service colored देखो. अभी मेरा gender का color ये देखो. Not male, not female. ये देखो. So everything has to be lined up. For me, it's taking it to another level of comedy, because it's just absolutely stupid.
It is ridiculous, right? It makes absolutely no sense.
What if the car gets confused as like carrying meat? Oh, veg meat inside, so green. Non-veg meat inside, so red. So you don't want that, man.
You can apply your logic only when they stop you and have a conversation. Is this going to come into play? So otherwise, it's if they buy the car and the person in it, they're just passing. And I can't believe that, honestly, there are not that many cars on the road. So I don't think that's really the
Yeah.
big issue yet.
No, it should be a
Which
single
we
pass.
are
They
running out
should
of
have a.
beds. We're running out of
Yeah.
oxygen. Where
Yeah.
the vaccine drive has to be upped because half the time the vaccine isn't available, and people have to still be pushed through it. And immunity issues of how to boost people, make them feel more confident, positive, etc. I was thinking we'd focus more on that, but obviously maybe I'm wrong, and we'll go for stickers.
You
Stickers
know
are
what?
important too.
The thing they need to do is they need to do a better job of scheduling vaccine stuff, man. I was so my mom got her second dose yesterday, so
Oh,
she's
good.
now second dose done. But I'd taken her to Elizabeth yesterday, and I was talking to somebody over there, not like one of the doctors or something like that, but the guy was telling me that they're doing 100 doses a day at Elizabeth supposedly. They have the this to do 100, but he's saying we're not doing more than like 60, 70 a day.
So they've
And I'm
got
just like,
30,
how is
30
how is that
surplus every
happening?
day.
How is
I
that
thought it's the other way
happening?
around. You're running out of it.
No, so I mean, like you're running out of it in some ways.
Area,
There is a
area.
shortage, but it depends on space to space, right? I mean, like a shortage
Yeah.
doesn't mean that everyone is running out completely. But the thing is that there is no good information. People don't know where it is available and where it's not available at any given point in time, right? Like, the process of getting the vaccine itself is great. The process of signing up for where to get the vaccine sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, like, you go to the Coven website or you go to the Arogya Setu thing, you put in your PIN code. If and the only thing it searches for your PIN code and your PIN code alone. It doesn't search for around surrounding PIN codes. It doesn't tell you what availability there is until you go and select the hospital, and then you can see how much availability there is for each particular day. And that's not, I mean, like
But why
that
didn't we
doesn't make
just
sense.
follow a simple localization process where whatever you're closest to, that's your spot. So for your example, you're like 1 minute away from St. Elizabeth. You just go there. And hence, all the people in your geography all go there. In which case, it would have been more organized. Maybe even go building by building or lane by lane or something.
But then you have this age-based thing right now happening, so then you
Yeah.
can't really do it that effectively in that
But
sense,
maybe
right?
we got that wrong with the age-based thing. They could have had emergency outlet as well, and then they could have just following the geography. And that by doing the geography, you claim the whole of Alkesh were done in 2 days. The
So I
whole of
think when they
Powai
get
done
to
in the next 2 days. Like that.
I I think when they go under 45, when they open it universally, I think that's what they will not, because I mean that's how polio vaccine drives and stuff like that happen, right? They happen geographically. They don't really
But
happen on
what will
the
happen to all
basis.
my colleagues like Malaika, Maria, Sophie, all of them, because they don't like to say the exact age. So I'm saying there'll be a lot of women who will not be happy with this 45 over or under. I think you should not for women bring up the age. You get a slap. Because the doctor will say age bolo slap straight away. I think we should just let people come in now and say the emergency quota is over hopefully, so everybody come in. But I don't see any
So
mass movement anyway. Do you guys see? I don't know. Have you ever seen? You've been 3 4 times, Amit, with various people. Have you ever seen really serpentine queues and all? It's not really happening.
not at all.
Not really.
Not at all.
No.
It's been very peaceful, very chilled out. I mean, like it's not really been that much of an issue at all. The process of getting the vaccine itself has been as good a process as I can imagine, right? Yesterday, we went to the hospital. My mom, there were two gates, one for people who had reservations, one for people who are just walk-ins.
Right.
You went in with a reservation. They took her in within 5 minutes. She got the shot. She had to sit down for 30 minutes, and then we were home like within the hour.
So we went ahead of our reservation because we were suddenly free on a Tuesday 2 weeks
Huh.
back, and we just went. And the whole thing took us about 1.5 hours going in the longer line and
Yeah.
everything. But we just went because why waste the day? We thought instead of waiting till
Yeah.
Friday, which we had planned, this lockdown looming large, we just went for it. And it was not the worst experience. I mean, I would like a non-veg canteen. It's Saint Elizabeth, for God's sake, named after the famous queen who may or may not still be alive in England. I'm not following
It's
the royal family. They fall like flies these days. I can't believe my daughter woke up that day and came up
it's
to me
not
and said
named,
he
dude,
missed
dude,
his
dude.
100.
It's
Huh.
it's not named for the Queen. It's Saint Elizabeth.
Oh, the saint. But
It's
since she
not
was named,
Queen Elizabeth.
but then maybe the first Elizabeth, the great, the famous one, maybe she was named after the saint. I
She
don't know.
wasn't sainted.
No, no, but maybe there was some saint before her called Elizabeth, hence she got the name,
Okay.
I'm saying. So there
I'm
is a
sure
connection.
that's.
As long as there's a connection,
I'm
I'm good.
sure every Christian name is in some way related to a saint, right?
Okay, be very careful. Let's not start a minority
No,
assault of our own.
no,
Huh.
no. It's not a minor. It's just how people name people, right? I mean, like you name people based on historical
Lot
and current this.
Christian cultures, a lot of people do name their kids after saints,
Yeah.
especially like Irish Catholic and Roman Catholic
Michael,
cultures.
Paul.
Yeah,
I mean, like these are very common names because these are names of
Cyrus.
saints. Cyrus
I've
is
been declared a saint. I
okay.
just spoke to the Shiv Sena. They said you're a saint here,
Saint
complete
Cyrus
saint.
of Malabar Hill,
That's right. I bless you. I bless you with one vaccine in each shoulder.
which
Yeah.
is your verified miracle.
I wanted to ask Amit, did you get any side effects from the vaccine? I know
He-
Cyrus's was arm was paining a bit, so he couldn't exercise the next day.
I was
no,
really
no, I
sleepy.
exercised.
Oh, you did
Oh,
exercise
Of
with that?
course. She told me
Okay.
clearly because she felt my arm and shoulder and said, "आप workout करता है?" I said, "हाँ." तो एक दिन दो दिन के लिए नहीं करो. So I said, "Okay." And 8 hours later, I was working out. So
Oh.
yeah,
What about you,
that's
Amit?
how much we care.
I was a little tired the first day. I mean, like, I got it, and I just like I think I normally I slept like a couple hours earlier than I
But I
normally
got a
do.
cough and cold, which stayed for 3 4 days, and now it's still there slightly. So
Oh,
there was
really?
a yeah, but no
Okay.
fever, no pain, no headache, no energy drop, nothing. My
No,
My
irritability went up.
my
that
mother got
same.
her yeah, my mother got her vaccine like 2 days, second vaccine 2 days back,
Oh,
and the day after that, her entire body was just paining a lot, like full body ache.
But the shorter
yeah.
gap between the vaccines, they've
Uh, yeah, like short gap, like about a
that's why
month.
they said to make it
Yeah,
2 months. Two
yeah.
months or 4 weeks.
For
4 weeks,
6 weeks.
yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. This is a little safer. Otherwise, you have a lot in your body, and then you get COVID-like reactions for a short while.
Yeah.
That makes sense, but I don't know. But my wife, nothing happened. COVID just died. Went in, injection, boom, nothing. No pain in her shoulder, nothing.
Oh.
No swelling. Yeah.
But I mean, I think that it really is varying from people to people, right? I mean, like we were talking in one of our friends groups. Some people were really tired the next day and just like crashed. Some people were absolutely fine. Some people got cold and fever and all of that. Some people, I know somebody who was like fevered for like 4 days afterwards.
Oh,
So I
which is
mean,
like
like
regular COVID.
yeah, I mean, like it's a
Actually, one day
fever.
worse than regular
Yeah.
COVID. Okay. That poor guy. Is he okay now?
Yeah, he's fine now. Fine now. But yeah, I mean, like all kinds of reactions showing up to this thing.
I'm feeling very bad that in England they wasted a vaccine because Prince Philip had only got one and then he died. So the second one is pending. That's like gone to waste. So I don't know about you guys, but my family, barring me, I'm the egalitarian in the setup. I don't like the royal family, as in not like as in I don't have time for all that. I just think it's stupid after a point. But my wife, my good friend Kunal, and my daughter, huge royalists. So watched the funeral. And I was like, an IPL match is going on. It's a double header. What kind of human being does this? What are you watching? Some strange European people in medieval clothes walking around somberly with somber piano music in the background, and of course, because they all love old Blighty, just shots of England in the cold. April,
So
colder April than it's been for many years.
there was a massive controversy around the way the BBC covered his death, right? Because generally, so like they abandoned all programming
Yeah.
for death coverage, right? And apparently there were a couple of matches, like there was some football match going on. There was like a bunch of different stuff going on, and people were pissed. So yeah, I mean, like I think that most of England's also coming around to the non-royalist idea
No, no,
now.
it's divided. I mean, it's divided. You get the
It is.
royalist, he's hardcore. You get the non-royalist, he's hardcore in his cynicism and looking down. It's divided properly. But there
Yeah,
are plenty of them who are very, for queen and country and all that. The only thing is, at the end of the day, it's like racism. It's actually
it
perpetrating
is
some sort of
racism.
because they're better than you. They do nothing.
It's not like it is. If you look at the
Yeah.
people who are pro and the people who are anti, you will find that most people who are super pro royal are generally going to be white.
And the Indians who like it are wannabe whites, to be honest,
Yeah, they're close to
wannabe
be white.
Brits.
They're close to
So
white.
yeah, I'm saying this all wrong because I'm a big British culture lover myself. What I mean is they like the idea of an apex and a caste system and people being on top and people being below. They enjoy all that. Their whole sense of what I think sense of fair play, some sort of egalitarianism, some sort of equality is not really there deep down. They love the idea that you have this person who does nothing, who's your leader, does nothing. What the hell did he do? He played cricket in school, rugby in college, and polo later on. And then after that, he probably got someone who would ride the horse for him. So you actually just had to clap, and he'd get the points. Be like that. And then you give away the Wimbledon title. I mean, over due respect, it's not like he's evil, but And of course, he made some racist comments around the years that we won't get into since he's just
Yeah,
passed away. Yeah. But I don't know. I just think it's an overrated concept, honestly. And
it
it's like
is.
religion. It doesn't match the 21st century for me. It's like, okay, great. You want to talk about history, fine. But kingship, divinity of leadership, it's bullshit. It's worse
It
than
is.
nepotism. I mean,
It
what
is
the hell is
nepotism.
that?
It's the
It's the
genesis
father
of
of nepotism.
nepotism.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, like
As I said it, I realized that. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
it's the worst. I mean, like, yeah, the fact that people still have kind of, I don't understand in the 21st century how anybody could think well of any kind of royalty, right?
No, but they sat
Any,
up. They sat up like it was a freaking Wimbledon final match or something, or a huge election result or whatever hell gets your fancy. They sat up to watch a guy they nobody knows anything about this guy. And it's
That's the
basically all
other
of
thing.
Germanic descent. Ironically, Germanic descent. He's Greek or something, and the rest are all German, and they're running the British Empire, and they fought against these countries for the last 100 years. So it's oof.
So I
I-
heard somebody make a joke,
People
right?
were crying. Amit, why were people
Yeah.
crying? They don't even know this guy. What is his surname? You know nothing.
So what I heard was, I heard this joke, right? That basically people found out more about Philip from the TV show The Crown than they ever knew about him before.
Of
Nobody knows
course,
anything about him.
my daughter, 150,000% got in. The crown is the reason. It's like the reason why it was thrown out there, and then they bit into that, and now they're interested. But now she knows all the facts. All the facts, and they're useless facts. That's why I know he's of Greek origin and that he played cricket and rugby and all that. I don't know that. I don't know because she tells me. I just about knew his name was Phil or something like that, and that he was very old, like 1,000 years old, and he gave away the Wimbledon title. That's the only thing I remember of him growing up because he was always there with no expression, half smile. I always gave it to the runner up, and they would point him in the wrong direction and say, no, 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 you have to go there. That's the winner. That's the runner up. You had to make a choice between two, and you got it wrong. Yeah. But how you can't cry? You can't cry. It's not like Elvis has died and you spend your whole life, listening to his music. There's no connect here. What the hell are you talking about? The well-wishers who stand around and they're crying, they've got nothing to do with the monarchy. Just fans. Why? How does his death affect you?
That's
I
true.
can't get that
Yeah.
connection.
I've never understood. I really haven't. I've never understood the affection that people have for any of these royal families. I don't understand our affection for our Kuwars and Nawabs and all of that either, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's had its time or whatever, but now it's just out of place.
No, not just it. It had its time, yes, but I mean, like, listen, it's a inherently cruel method of government, right? I mean, like the number of kings, even the benevolent kings, right? It's still a do what
It's
I
a
say
paradox. So how
and
can you
I'll
really
be
be a benevolent?
nice.
How can you be a benevolent king? It's just a
That's what I'm
paradox.
saying.
Is it possible? I
It's
mean, at
not.
the end of the day, you order executions of people, but you patted the dog nicely. I mean, what does it mean?
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. Yeah, I'll cut some taxes, but I'll kill, like, those people over there on that side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or I'll have 47 wives and you can't question me. I'll just change. The church is cancelled. I'm now at the head of the church. It's like that.
Yeah.
What is all that about? Really?
Did you guys ever watch the video of when Kim Jong Un's father died in North Korea?
Yeah.
All the people
Crying.
assembled
Yeah, yeah,
were
yeah.
made to cry like forcibly, or they would have been in trouble and all.
See,
So it's
behind
like
the camera,
super
when you have
overacting,
100,
and it's hilarious.
behind the camera, you have 1,000 guns pointed at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
public. I
exactly.
mean, they are crying
Yeah,
genuinely because they know if they
but
don't, they'll
like
die on the spot.
overacting, dude. It's so good. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's so
Yeah,
great.
that's I know in India, what's it called? We have these guys at funerals, right? The professional
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
criers.
The
Couple of Hindi
professional
films done on
mourners.
them. What is the word? I forget. It'll come back to us, or somebody can put a
The
link in
professional
quickly.
mourner, I can't remember who it is, but it's like,
There's a Hindi
they do
word which
the,
is
yeah.
famous here. Yeah, exactly. So they just put it on. Like they
Yeah.
come to the area, they've never seen the dead body or the family or whatever, and they just perform for 15 minutes. They'll cry their hearts out, then say, "Acha bolo, GST bhi hai usme, acha thank you," and they'll walk out, and that's it. So now my daughter informed me of something really funny about this whole thing, and she was telling me that basically this guy and the queen live separately all their lives. Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I
I
also
mean,
read.
so
Yeah,
what are they standing for?
yeah, exactly.
It's like a dysfunctional family to begin with. It
They're
starts from
standing
there,
for, we're royals. That's what they're standing for.
but they're not
We are
even together.
royals. Yeah.
He had his own palace, she has her own palace. I mean, okay, fair enough. Lots of couples would take that option, but they're not even like a couple. They probably met once a year for some state funeral like this when somebody popped it, and that's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's an arranged marriage. Now, at the end of it, it is an arranged marriage.
why are we, and people blame the Parsi community, but why are we Indians so crazy about it? Please explain that complexities there in the social hierarchy of our minds. I would love to.
Because listen, Indians love basically idol worship, right? Whatever it is, we love any kind of idol that we can kind
Godlike,
of turn
yeah.
it into an iconic, any kind of thing that we can turn into an icon. We like to worship that, right? And I mean, like you see it across this, right? We turn movie stars into gods. I mean, like there are temples to Rajnikant, Amitabh Bachchan, Kamal Hassan, Jayalalitha. There are temples
South
to
to
all of these people.
non-stop. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like we just
Hey, Amit, can I get a temple?
sure, why not?
It'll help our ratings.
Yeah,
Can't we
let's
get a
do it.
temple?
We can
Do I have to,
let's go do it.
do
Let's go find out what's the cheapest place of what's the cheapest plot of 10 by 10 land we can get in this country.
it's probably where I am, but I must have already
I
got
don't
it.
think that's true for Alibag.
But I'm dressed like a deity, aren't I?
Yeah, you
Uh,
are.
yeah, yeah, typical Indian scripture thing where I'm
Yeah,
just wearing the loincloth or whatever and walking around.
your
I'll,
hair needs
I'll,
to get longer. This.
Hair
Hair needs to get
longer.
longer. Hair should be longer. Yeah.
We'll fix that in Photoshop, yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. You want it like that, blazing. Why is it that
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
prophets have to have that blazing hair? Okay, I'm not going to point fingers at which prophet from which civilization, but almost always they have the blazing hair.
Well, I
You're
think,
right, Silvery. Very good point. They never have a terrible haircut. They never look
well,
like this. Frankly, I
but
just realized.
so no, no, I think we know who you're talking about here, right? But I mean, like, that's the European representation of what that person looks like. That's
That's
But
not what
true.
even
that person looked
We'll
like,
never
right? I
know
mean,
what the
like, it's
truth
been
is.
deeply established that the versions of Jesus Christ that we see in paintings and such are basically a Eurocentric version of what he looks like. That's not what he looked like. He was actually a Jewish guy from Israel at that point in time. He probably looked more black than he looked white.
yeah, okay, I remember reading this. But even
Yeah.
some of our Indian, somewhat so-called prophets, would be considered with like having long hair. Like Ram is always shown with having long hair. Krishna is always shown with having long hair.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
long hair is
yeah.
a thing.
No, long hair is a thing, but I think that's more of a. Again, if you look
Yeah.
more African in nature, right, from a racial perspective, then your hair is going to be curly. It's going to be crinkly.
That's true.
Chances
Yeah.
of it being long and flowing like that are fairly low. It's not impossible. There, that does exist, but it's unlikely, right? And again, the point is that this is the versions of what we're seeing right now, right, are basically paintings that were created in the 8th, ninth, 10th century onwards. That's the kind of version that we're seeing right now of this, right? Even in the case of Ram and Krishna and stuff like that, right? Most of the artwork that you see, right? That's stuff that
Yeah.
came much later.
That's true. Yeah.
The sculptures and stuff like that were earlier. You're back.
Hey, Cyrus.
Yeah, so you're coming back. Sorry, but I've now done the relevant hot spotting technology, which I think I'll just
That's
approve
all
every
right,
time.
man. While you were not there, I did the religion insulting on your
Yeah.
behalf.
Oh, no, 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 no. There's no religion insulting. Please, for God's sake, you might as well take a noose and hang yourself. Don't say that. We are making observations by humans on religion. Always
Yes, we
the
are.
religious figure is
Absolutely.
above board. We're not getting to that. We're getting to, as you said, the human translation. No, no, look at it this way. If you're in a court of a medieval king or whatever, and you're doing the portrait, which guy's going to give an accurate? Louis the 16th, for example, was famously not so attractive. But no one's going to take a chance, no? They're always going to make the guy look like, name the king. Which king looks bad? Nobody's
Yeah.
drawn an ugly king and left it there for posterity. His family would have been wiped out. I wish there was one guy
That
who
is true.
said, Baba, Timur, don't mind, Amir Timur, come here, come here. You're no jaw, looking very bad. Yeah. He would have done that. So the same thing goes for religious figures. Unless you're against the figure, why would you have anything which is unattractive? You can't have an unattractive preacher. Won't work. I don't think, except
True.
if you go to the Kumbh Mela, sometimes a couple of the guys, maybe have overdone the imbibing. Which reminds me, isn't that a fabulous story?
The
Oh,
Kumbh Mela?
it's the best. Oh
Because we
man.
go
So,
on about red paper and yellow paper, and what are we talking about?
Yeah, correct.
And
no, so
28
what
lakhs paid
was
together, and then 32 lakhs are hanging out together,
Yeah.
and no tests are being
uh,
conducted, just quietly here and there. Yeah, sorry.
then Narendra Modi asked for them to make it symbolic, and so then apparently some
When?
people left.
When? After
Oh no,
10
no,
days.
On Sunday, yeah, on
On
Sunday,
Wednesday or on Friday or whatever, Sunday. Yeah, there you go. So,
yeah,
and that too, I think it was international pressure finally because
it
that's his
was.
thing. You want to reach him, you got to criticize him internationally, and he's like, "Oh no, there goes my Nobel. I got to do something," and boom. But the fact is, at least two high-profile monks or mutts, as they call it, whatever, have died. Okay, of COVID already. One in MP and one in another
Right.
state going after going back home, died of COVID. So
Huh.
the numbers, if they actually tell us honestly, are going to be much more than whatever 2,000
They
that they've
are.
Oh,
come up with
It,
right
absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
Much more.
Without
it's
doubt.
it's a 100% super spreader event. Delhi government has said that anybody coming back from Kumbh Mela has to self isolate for 14 days. Right? I don't know how they're going to enforce that, but they're saying that. It's unbelievable, right? I mean, like on one end we are being shut down
That's
and
you're
being
talking about
told,
a guy. Let's say a guy from UP going to MP, doing what you say, 14-day quarantine. Let's look at that. That's one thing. Before he goes there, he's interacted with lots of other people, right? Some of them
"Mhm,
stay in the same area and don't go from there. So
right,
it'll spread in many different ways. It doesn't just spread from one state to the next. It spreads in the state first, and then from there it can spread all over the place to many people. Because once it starts spreading, the only way to spread is not just the guy who leaves the place and then comes to the next place and takes 14 days off. So I don't know. I think the politicians really not one has spoken out about it. I mean, we're repeating ourselves, but nobody's taking this seriously. But you want me to put a yellow
Yeah.
stick on my car to drive for 1 kilometer? I mean, really, what are you thinking? Where's the real issue? This is going to be a global issue now because from here it'll go all over the world again, not just India. So 28 lakhs had a bath in the middle of this.
Yep.
Name me one country,
And this,
as third world as you want, as
yep,
sixth world as you
correct.
want, who would have allowed this. Name me, please, guys. Give me a country's name that would say, okay, guys,
Nobody.
28 lakhs, please have a bath together because it's COVID, but God will protect us from everything. And plus, we want to save water, so collective baths.
No, so I mean, like, it's actually one of the ways that these viruses travel quite effectively, right? They've shut swimming pools for like since day one, right?
Correct?
Because apparently the virus travels really effectively when it's like, when through water or what have you, right? And so, I mean,
Right.
like, you're putting people, I don't get it. I just
But
simply
Amit,
don't
look at the
understand.
numbers. The
It makes,
Shahi Snan, what the royal bath, which is a huge deal in the Kumbh Mela, 28 lakhs attended that bath. As in, they were in
Th-
the bath. You
yeah,
saw pictures. You guys have seen
31
pictures.
lakhs the next day.
31
yeah.
lakhs the next day. So these are
Day three, yeah.
what is the on one end every media outlet is saying things like please stay safe, wash hands, wear mask. What's the point? What's the point of Amit Doshi and Silverie cleaning their hands while 31 lakh people are bathing together? We're
That's
dead.
absolutely
It's
true.
game set and match. It's pointless.
Yep.
Might as well
Yeah.
enjoy the last 3 days
Uh,
of your life. Let's watch porn.
the thing is,
I'm
what I
telling
don't
you.
understand is, no, but what I really don't understand is why is the timing of this so weird as well, right? I mean, like, geez, all you needed to do was just wait for a couple of months before you could do all of this stuff, right?
And what is the
Just wait
power
for a few
here?
months.
What is the voting power here? Is it so much? What is the issue? Because you cancel Diwali, our biggest festival, bar none. You cancel Holi, which is in the north of India, is a huge festival. Okay, you've cancelled Christmas and all these other festivals as well. So everybody has been cancelled. Religious Eid, everything is pushed to the side. That's been done. So what was the worry with the Kumbh?
I think
You've
mass
already
festival, the festivals for people. So most of the festivals, Diwali and Holi, are festivals celebrated by the general public. Kumbh Mela is a festival celebrated by the hardcore.
professionals, professional
Yeah,
whatever
the the
sadhus, what you want
the
to call
the
them.
yeah, the hardcore,
Yeah,
people who are really really deeply into this
rich
stuff, right?
people with less clothes is one way to
Oh,
describe them. Yeah,
okay.
because they never dress
But
up. That's for sure.
I think what that does is, like, it's, if you want to take a parallel, right? I mean, like, how the in America, the Republicans will generally cater to their base and the Democrats will generally cater to their base, right? In this case, what you have is the BJP catering to their hardcore base, right? And
Got that.
it's
Got
horrendous
that.
and awful, but
But I thought for this one time that because of the pandemic, they went above religion. They cancelled religious worship centers, all that. We showed a lot of guts in India initially when they did it for the first, whether it's the state or the center, all did it at some point. How did they balk here? How did they, suddenly blink? How did they suddenly, like you said, it's vote bank politics and all that, and the lobby is very strong, but it's against the run of play completely. You've got this whole
yeah.
plan in place, so why would you allow it? How will we not look stupid at the very least? And how will we not have consequences for sure?
There are consequences to this. This is exactly the kind of thing where you're going to be. I mean, like, this is a super spreader event. This is a super spreader event, right? I mean, like, there's no getting around the fact that you have this many people in such a small amount of place. People coming to one place where they will all come and catch it, or not all of them, but a good chunk of them will come and catch it, and then they'll go back to the various places giving it over there. It's a
But if
spreader
all
event.
catch it, the world is finished. The world is over because the
Oh,
numbers are staggering. So if it was to be
yeah,
everybody there, then I mean,
they are.
there's no way we'll be able to. We'll just won't be able to save the world.
So
First,
Antariksh actually sent a really interesting graph, right, which was
Yep.
just showing how
I saw this. Yeah.
basically how COVID has spread in India, right? And it is stark, right? It's like basically we were all so panicked up until now, but what happened in March and April is just like it just completely blows away what's happened in the year before that. Right,
yeah.
this last March and April is insane what's going on right now. I mean, just the numbers
And
are that we're
while
seeing,
these
and
numbers
in
are
that we're
surging,
seeing this kind of behavior.
and it's continuing, it's not like it stopped. The prime minister made some comments, but it's continuing. It's not stopped at all. There's no real change. Are you showing it? Let me. I can't
Yeah. I'm
read.
just
Yeah,
showing
it's
how the
putting it
graph.
together.
Can you explain it for the dumb?
So it's
Yep.
just like the number of infections as you go up, you're seeing the on the
Yeah,
bottom on the left side,
yeah,
you're seeing the
yeah,
number of infections,
And you're seeing the date.
right?
So right now it's only reached. It's still 2020. I think it's only reached like June.
yeah.
April. It's
You're in
going through
August
August. Okay. Right now it's going
last
into
year.
August.
Now September.
Yeah,
September.
and now
Yeah.
we start seeing it coming down in September, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So see how far it came back down.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
the
happy
time it was looking
times.
good. We were all happy. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
happy times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now
And
suddenly
then just oh
all on
god, yeah, just wait
board
for it.
space shuttle. Oh wow, ouch. From March
And
itself, actually, not so much
yeah,
before.
just
Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's
We
insane.
it just
are we
keeps
running out
going.
of people first or days? That's the question.
So for the
Yeah.
folks who are listening only, we'll put this into the notes of it, into the show notes of the thing, so you can take a look at this graph. But it really just shows, like, we went from a peak of 80,000 infections in like September, October, to a point where we came down all the way down to like less than 20,000, and then we went all the way up in like 2 months over 80 to like close to 150. It's just
We're close to
startling.
150 right now as we speak. What is the
I
figure?
think so.
Thank
It
God
crossed two
Silverie's got a couple
lakhs.
of lighter
It
topics to
crossed
get
like
into.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually.
It crossed 2
Uh,
lakhs already. Oof.
yeah. We had like some crazy
Yeah.
11% increase in like one day
We have
on this week, one day
we
over the
have
weekend.
20, yeah, we have
If
20
if
lakh
only this
active.
was the stock market. Damn.
So we have 2 million, close to 2 million active cases, which are actively which are declared. 20 lakh, 19 lakh 23,000 active cases.
So we'll soon overtake the population of New Zealand in a matter of days
So
in
we
just
are already
cases,
second now.
as in
We
the full
are
population. Huh.
yeah. So we have India
Second to
overtook
Brazil.
Brazil a couple of weeks, a
So
couple of days
US is
ago,
only
and
US is ahead.
no, we're now only second to America.
Huh.
And if anybody believes that India is reporting as accurately as the US is, then I can sell a lot of different things to that person. There's no way India is reporting as accurately as the US is, right? There was as Sachin was telling us about this the other day, right? There was the person the World Health person or someone like that who was saying that based on what kind of reporting numbers we have and what kind of serology tests we are seeing, that India could be declaring as little as 30x, right? So it could actually be 30 times more than what we're seeing in terms of the number of
Like, for example,
infections,
in Uttar Pradesh, as we speak, I'm
which is
100%
just
sure
mind
that
blowing.
the testing is not happening up to standard at all in terms of the Kumbh Mela. If it was, a lot of people wouldn't have been allowed to enter if they were really being very stringent. There's no way. So I'm sure it's going to happen all across the country. That's our way. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back after the break where we talk about the royal family again, but this is a better story. That was death. This is love. This IPL season, stand a chance to win 100% cash back on Cred Power Play. Just pay your credit card bill via Cred during the Power Play overs. It's as simple as that. If you win, your name and face will be projected in stadium and shown on TV. We'll touch up the face to make you look good. I would have killed for a deal like this. In fact, I'm going to do it myself. Download Cred, pay during the Power Play overs, and you will be the greatest Indian of all time. So, Silvery, this beautiful story to brighten the day of people listening to the podcast. They don't want to hear more about the COVID that we can't control. So, this is lovely. Tell us across cultures.
All right. So a woman from Punjab, her name is, I mean, it's given in the news article, so I know I can say her name is Palvinder Kaur. She has sued Prince Harry. She filed a case against Prince Harry in Chandigarh court, saying he promised to marry me and then he did not marry me. So he's suing Prince Harry for not marrying her. Turns out, obviously, pretty obvious, this woman got catfished by a random dude who was sitting at some cyber cafe in Punjab. Is what they're saying, where the IP address or whatever they whatever were able to narrow it down. Ki this guy
Or
was probably sitting in this cyber cafe
Harry is a
somewhere.
very popular name in Punjab. It's possible he's also Prince Harry. Both these are popular names. So he might not be as
Exactly. Yeah, that's
unauthentic as
true.
you think.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, मेरा
yeah,
नाम
could be
Harry है
Harinder
भाई.
or something.
हाँ,
Yeah,
सामने देखा, she was beautiful.
very true.
Yeah. So what you're
So
saying is she got
yeah, so
played by
like
a
there were a
guy
lot of
in a
problems
cyber
with
cafe.
yeah, basically. That's what it sounds like. And then the court had some like interesting insights like as to their ruling, which was that first they were like a little sarcastic. They're saying there is every possibility that so-called Prince Harry may be sitting in a cyber cafe of a village in Punjab looking for greener pastures for himself. So that is like because he's already married to Meghan Markle, so he's not gonna.
Megan.
Then they also said that this court finds no ground to entertain this petition and can only show its sympathy for the petitioner that she believed such a fake conversation to be true. So all these kind of like
It's a good
really like
point for
brutal,
a
like
court, no,
brutally
Silvery.
honest.
If
Yep.
one sexy, there are two things here. One, I get the judgment. It's quite nice actually because he's feeling sympathy or rather
Yeah.
empathy for the lady. If she's got fooled, let's forget basic intelligence and all this nonsense. She's got fooled. She's got fooled. So for her, dhoka has happened, and she's sort of been well betrayed. So in that sense, if he's empathized with that, I think it's the right decision to make because she's not to blame for getting fooled in a
Yeah.
sense because you get fooled. Then the perpetrator is the person who fooled her. That's where the buck stops. So I do feel bad. But now, having said that, how many people out there would actually think member of the royal family is trying to get married to a young lady in Sector 13,
Yeah.
uh, who he's never seen,
Exactly.
but for some reason is able to identify on an email
Yeah.
millions of miles away.
The
Yeah, wow.
Justice Arvind Singh, who was involved, Arvind Singh Sangwan, who was involved in the case, he also said that this is nothing but just a daydreamer's fantasy about marrying Prince Harry. So I think that's what it was. It's just like some person thought they were marrying Prince Harry. Sometimes it's very easy to convince you because you want to believe it. Like,
What
yeah,
if
of
she
course
comes?
the prince is in love with me. Of course,
What if she
I've
comes?
met this prince
What
I've
if?
never met online.
What if she comes
Yeah.
back to court the next week with Prince William now, saying again, the
I told you it
promises
was
and
true. Yeah, he
yeah.
is उसका नहीं तो उसका भाई का से. No,
And
William
then
is called.
finally
Oh,
she
sorry.
comes and says that, I married Prince Philip, but he died on me. And, now they won't let me back into the castle.
Sue him. Yeah.
But it must be fun for the judge in the middle of this pandemic and the ridiculous things that he has to deal with on a daily basis. It's a breath of fresh air. I would think he must have enjoyed it. He'll go home and discuss this with his family. They'll all have a. So you put a lot of happiness across the table, not just in Punjab but everywhere in the world once the story goes out. So thank you, Parminder ji, if that is your name. I think we're all feeling better after the Kumbh. The Kumbh is being
Yeah.
pushed aside, and your love affair with the royal Prince Harry, who by the way is no longer royal, right, Amit? So my daughter tells me he's given up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
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 just
some
Harry.
He's not
he's
doesn't have title anymore, right?
yeah,
No
he
title.
gave it all up.
No title.
Well, I mean, like I
No.
think he is still the prince, right? I mean, like, he might not have like a duke or a dukedom or
Huh.
whatever.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think
I'll do
that's
it.
Honestly, dude, I don't know. I don't care enough. I don't know enough. I just
I'll do an Alibaba Google check right now. Maya, does Prince Harry have a title? No title.
no
No
title.
title. He's
no
just
time.
Harry. Oh,
Okay.
Harinder or Harish or whatever his full name is. That's it. Imagine he's just one of us. Why would you let that go? You had a lifetime of being famous doing nothing, and you let that go. It's like being a VJ
I
forever.
know.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. A big mistake. They take their lives too seriously. The whole idea is they shouldn't.
Yeah, I was saying that in the interview with Oprah, they were saying something about racism and all, right? They were worried about the Archie's like color of Archie's the child's skin
Skin
and
and
all
all that.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think that all that, and then always having to be formal and all the controlling the media and the press and all that is the excuses that Harry and Meghan gave for leaving.
Also, don't want to make it a case of sour grapes, and don't ask me how I know all this. But he's like fifth or sixth in line, so his chances of getting the kingship and at one point is never going to really happen, because there are a
That's
few
true.
others that. So I
He's not
mean,
getting it.
he's now
I
not
don't.
getting it. So
I don't think he ever expected to get. He never
Yep.
expected, right? I mean, like it's Charles, and then after Charles, William, then William's kid, then after that, I
yeah,
think
Williams two
then
kids.
after that he comes. William's
Yeah,
got two kids, so then he got two kids and then him. So he's got no chance
yeah. So he's fifth or sixth
as
in
such.
line, and then with the age and all, do the maths. The chances are very well, no, there's no chance. He could be. He could come to Punjab and be the king of a lady's heart. That we can give him. He can be the king of Parminder's heart. We can figure that out. A nice title, Shahenshah is Jagir ki whatever. We'll figure out a nice long line. Yeah. Anyway, nice story. Next one.
The, there's there's two stories now about the Ever Given ship which was stuck at the Suez Canal.
Is it
So
Evergreen or
the
Evergreen?
Evergreen is the company's name. Ever Given is the ship's name. The company
Right,
that
right.
owns
That's
the
why I
ship
keep getting confused.
is the
I keep reading
yeah
both these things and I'm wondering, are they making a print mistake? Good, you clarify that. Huge
yeah
point,
yeah.
huh?
So the Ever Given after being released whatever like unstuck from the Suez Canal
Yeah.
is now has
Unstuck is
been
the only word we can use.
yeah has been impounded right like very near the canal has been impounded and is not being left till the owners of the ship pay $1 billion in for the chaos they caused. And that
Yeah.
so the entire crew which had like 25 26 Indian sailors is not being allowed to leave except for two sailors who recently were allowed to leave because of some reason which I forgot what the reason was, but they have been allowed to
Humanitarian
leave.
basis of some emergency or whatever, but basically they've been kept back. So it's like no bail for these poor guys. They're stuck
Yeah.
there till their management. Well, it's a lot of money. Amit, is it possible? Insurance won't cover it, right? Because there's enough human error
$1 billion.
involved
I
in it.
mean, like I doubt they have that much money, right? I mean, like what's the value of the ship? Maybe they take over the ship. Ship's probably worth like 20, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, something like that. But I doubt that they have that kind of cash. Shipping is a low margin, high volume business, no?
Yeah, but what happens to those 26 sailors? They become like SpongeBob SquarePants, spend the rest of their lives under the sea. That's it.
No, no,
You
I'm
know.
sure they will get out now eventually. It's basically they'll keep the ship. Well, I mean, like you can't keep the crew forever, no?
Yeah, but because I think Silverie's going to get into this story about sexual metaphors and all. I
Yeah.
want to just quickly add that this whole story is, if you've ever seen dogs having sex, they get stuck after the sexual act, and it takes a long time for them to pull off, and it's quite an awkward looking situation. So this is similar to what happened here. Metaphor I thought was warranted, between the ship and the canal, to
Really?
which
Really? You thought it was
Silverie has
warranted?
to take this
Yeah.
point forward, Silvery has lots of
Yes.
poets out there
Yeah.
and writers and creative geniuses. See, the world needs inspiration. It can't just be about Kumbh Mela and COVID. We need things. So we have Prince
Yeah.
Harry falling in love with a Punjabi girl and then
Yeah.
reneging on his promise. And now we have this sex between canal and ship, right?
Yeah, correct. So people don't understand the story. People, ever since the ship, the Ever Given ship, got stuck in the Suez Canal, people have been fascinated by it, right? So people have started writing erotic fan fiction about this, about the Suez Canal falling in love with the Ever Given and vice versa. Like these inanimate objects falling in love with each other, and some of it is really funny. Of course, a lot of it is done in like as a joke only, but some of them take it like really seriously. Like even this joke has been taken really seriously. Uh, the website is Archive of Our Own. That's like a website where people post a lot of fan fiction. And there's a tag now called the Suez Canal anthropomorphic. That's the tag's name. Where you can like click on to get to these stories. Okay, so some of these stories, like there's a title of the story. There's one called XX Extra Wide Cargo Stuffs Major Shipping Line Delivers Huge Payload. That's the name of the one of the stories.
You guys want me to
One
explain the references here and how the orgasm is at the end part of it and all that?
Eh,
Or you guys
sure.
good? You
delivers
guys
huge
good?
payload. We got
I could take you expert comments, blow by blow, like you do in sports. Take the play, we cut the play into seconds, and we could see where it went from here to there. But yeah, and also the name.
yeah,
I mean, it's a canal, it's a ship. It's already there
yeah,
for you, for in a sense,
yeah.
it's
Correct,
all
correct.
there if your mind wants to go in that direction. And I can tell from
That's
your
true.
half grins that the moment we all thought, why didn't we think like that? Where did
Well,
we
so
go
I mean, like
wrong?
when Antariksh first told me about the story, right? My first thought was this was probably like they were talking about sailor on sailor action, and they were writing stories about that. I had no conception that they were actually talking about the canal and the ship and the evergreen and the ever giving,
Yeah.
and like all of that. I mean, like that's just
So I have a
I mean,
small
who wants to
excerpt.
read about human sexual interaction? That's pointless. They've raised
That's
the bar
true.
for us now. Come on. I
Yeah.
think it makes sense
Correct.
at a time like this that somebody's thinking almost in an ethereal way beyond what
Yeah.
is materialistic in our minds and normal. I'm quite blown by this, to use a
I
sexual
have a
phrase.
so I have a small excerpt to read. Okay, this is a
Yeah.
conversation like in one of the erotic novels or whatever or erotic stories. This is a conversation between the Suez Canal and the Ever Given ship. It goes the Suez Canal going. I'm so glad, the Suez Canal said acidly, that we are doing this live. How convenient that we have a minute by minute GPS updates so the whole world can see how exactly bad your aim is. So this is like him talking dirty to her. She goes, "There's no need for
Hmm.
personal attacks." The Evergiven said with forced patience. It's not like I did this on purpose. So the canal replies, "So effing around and drawing a D and balls in the Red Sea." I'm censoring myself. Drawing a D and balls in the Red Sea. That was what top notch professional steering. Like if you remember, like when it had tried to steer away, it had like on GPS they had like
Phallic.
tracked
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
look
Yeah. Yeah.
like the path it took, and it was like loosely in the shape of penis and balls.
Yeah. But
So
listen.
she
Yeah.
just
Go on. Go on.
so she replies back, "That was foreplay. And hey, this isn't all on me, you know. It takes two to tango." And then she goes, and then the canal goes, "It's not my fault. Your bulbous bow is so effing big. Overcompensating much?" This is what is happening. This is so bizarre. So he goes, and then the canal replies, "Well, it's not my fault. You're too outdated to handle the capacity requirements of modern shipping."
No, it's the male
Yeah,
appendage. It takes the blame for
exactly.
everything in the world.
So then,
Whether it's
blah 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 blah.
warfare
A few
or
more.
pandemic, somehow or the other, it's the male organ which has caused it. I mean, you have to dig deep, of
Yeah,
course, as she has done here to prove it. But yeah, so there are two
yeah.
interesting points. One, of course, is the imagery. Secondly, but who thinks of it? I mean, I'm just thinking about what kind of empty lives do we lead that, think, okay, I can find sexual imagery between the canal and the ship, and I can actually have very, very strong graphic sort of metaphors in place for everybody to enjoy. And most of us are grinning and nodding along also, which tells you where we stand. What a
which
sick
is
people.
yeah, it's funny, dude.
Yeah, it is.
It is
It
funny.
is. Yeah. I'm just thinking, even a ship can get late these days. What happens to us?
Yeah. Yeah, so then I
Damn
have
Fantastic.
it.
like
The
very
wife,
small
as we.
summaries of some of the stories. Okay, some summaries of some of the stories. This is has been posted by a Twitter account called Starship Tomar SS. Okay, so whatever,
Huh,
Tomar SS. Yeah. Uh,
huh.
so some of these stories are titled like the Ever Giver, then Unconventional Waters, Ever Found. So whatever. So one of the Ever Giver cast synopsis is this. It says sometimes you get everything you want, but the world tries to take it away from you. And this is again talking about the love between the Suez Canal and the Ever Given. One more which says this is called Mall Rats, which says she was a ship large and in charge, flashing you a smile before disappearing into the thick sandstorm. Only you were blessed with the chance to get to know her as she slid her bulbous bow into your shoreline. So this a lot of it is very bizarre, but it's very funny to read. So I would recommend people go out and read this.
One writer borrowing the same imagery from the other, maybe also a work of collective work of sorts between the same group of people
Yeah,
who've had this
could
Yeah.
discussion.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Shall we go to
let,
Very
Indians?
funny.
let's.
Let's
I
go to
think
the
so.
Indians.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, thewholetruthfoods.com, PayPal, Cred, and Siat. Thank you so much for working with us. We really appreciate it. First up this week, let me tell you about Cyrus Says. We featured popular YouTuber and actor Prajakta Kohli, who took us through her journey of content creation. We also had conversations with Vasanti Hariprakash and Sachin Kalbag this week. Really great conversations. Do check those out. Vineet Kanabar goes solo this time on Storytellers and Storysellers as he talks about his favorite IPL ads and how brands have been making content around the Cricket League. On The Habit Coach, Ashton was joined by Arjun and Somesh of the Fighting Goat podcast to talk about fitness for combat sports like the mixed martial arts. On Nankari, Sadaf and Archit discussed the diet and lifestyle of athletes with the host of the Millennial Athlete, Shok Ramchandra, who is also a pro badminton player and coach. Ambarana opens the 4th season of Know Your Kanun with a list of things he has planned on the show for us, including episodes on immigration law and on career prospects for law students. The IPL season's on and we've definitely got you covered. Tune in to the Edges and Sledges podcast if you're looking for English, and if you're looking to listen to something in Hindi, definitely check out Khel Niti. Both are great shows with great takes. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored. I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
All right, AMA time. Yeah, there's some very good questions here today. The first one was Sachin Jangam says, non-COVID talk. Cyrus, please tell us about your new Amazon Prime Video comedy show. LOL,
Oh
LOL,
God.
Hase to Phase. Trailer is coming out
Oh.
today at around 11:30 a.m.
Yeah, I'm scared to talk about it. It's oh my God, it's so loud. It's amazing. It's a bit like this ship imagery. It's just really big and graphic. It'll hit you. Yeah, we're supposed to sell it, so it's best I don't say anything. That's what I was trying to tell the Amazon guys. But they were like, no, please, we have to sell it. We have to talk about it. So we've got interviews. I just don't know how I'm going to how much can I, without, I mean, God watches all this, you've got to be honest. You've got to be very careful. Yeah, so yeah, it'll be fun. There are 10 comedians put inside a room and they have to try and make each other laugh. And then who laughs first gets out, then the next, etc. So it's till one man is left standing. It's a Japanese concept, if I remember correctly, and owned by Amazon, obviously, and it's done in different cultures now here. So yeah, it would have been nice if we didn't have a pandemic in the background because we had to change the dates from March of last year to August, and even then, walk around with people, wearing all these suits and all that, and then taking it off and then doing the shoot. And would have been nice to do it in more relaxed times, but for now, this is it. Yeah, so it,
Would
it
you
is
have had a
there. He's
live audience? Would the show have had a live audience if it was,
no. They won't. They control
if
everything.
not non-COVID
There's
times?
only one person who likes to actually do improv style everything without any holes or planning, and that's me. And that's out of sheer laziness. But everybody else, everything is sort of planned. I've learned the hard way that everything is. They've got a beginning, middle, and end like an insect. They've got to have 3 parts to the body, and they do it that way. I think you have to be really lazy, like I am, to say let's just wing it and see what happens. But sadly, my people are very few. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, but
Next one.
we'll be inundated with this LOL right now because I have to every day do some press things and all of us. So they're going to really push that out. It's going to be second only to Kumbh Mela in terms of comedy, as far as I can tell. Yeah.
All right. Next one comes from Abhijit. He says, how did Cyrus convince Aisha about washing only one side of the plate while doing the dishes? I tried to do the same
Aisha's
with my GF, and all I got was a look of disgust.
No, I didn't convince her. I lost the argument,
You
but
lost
I
the argument.
fought like a man. I mean, not like a man, like an insect. I'm more like an insect now. But my logic was we've discussed it. And my logic is not wrong. I only wanted sometimes stupid people and cruel people don't want to listen to logic. My logic was what? Let's look at this phone here. Okay, this is the top of the phone. This is the back of the phone. When you eat food, let's pretend this is a plate. Similar analogy to the ship and canal. So you eat here. You never eat here. This part is never, this just stays on the table. It doesn't get touched by anything. So what is the point of cleaning both sides? I just, when I did the second dish, I was like, 1 minute, I don't have to do 100%. 50% is correct. And that's where the argument started. I am not wrong in my argument, but I got a beating. I got a real horrible beating, and they made me clean more dishes. Call the neighbors down.
No, but for
Bajajis,
how
send your
long will
dishes.
you
Make them
not
do it.
never wash the bottom?
Uh, yeah. So I'm sorry that the philosophy is right, but
Also,
we are not.
it's actually I can see how it can be incorrect also though. You're eating
Why?
with if you're eating with your hands and if you pick up the plate, then your fingers have touched the bottom.
Why would you pick up the plate?
Yeah.
You pick up the other
I
Don't
mean,
you need
plates. Who picks
don't you
up the
need to move
plate?
the don't you need to move your plate from your
No,
spot
I,
to
I I take
the
I take the big dish to my plate. I put whatever, let's say curry. I put the curry on the rice here. I don't take my plate to the curry. I make sure I don't touch anything. If I had my way, I'd have my mother feed me, but my wife will just kick me in the face.
no, but
So
but Amit is right. But then to finally take the plate to the washing bay,
Mhm.
you'll still have to pick it up, right? So
no,
at that time,
I,
only
I
that's
hold
when
it from
you're
I
doing
hold it from the tip. I hold it from the tip there with my
it.
clean
So
hands. I
now,
hold it
now
with the
you're
fork
making
and
it now,
spoon.
now
Yeah.
now you're really working hard so that you can only clean half of the plate. And I would think that the effort of cleaning the other half of the plate when you're already cleaning half of the plate is
I
less than the
swear.
amount of effort you have to
I
take to be able to
swear the
manage it.
underside of the plate was clean as a baby's bottom at the right time. It was completely. It was there was not a drop of water or liquid or chutney or anything like that. It was completely clean. It's really pointless. It's like when we shoot now, and the guy's taking time to iron the shirt. I always say just iron the chest part. You're only seeing this. Why are you ironing the back and the sleeves which are inside the suit? I don't see the point of that. Oh, pura karne ka. No, pura karne ka. This is what you're seeing. There's no point. But you try and argue, Indians don't like logic. We've had a big problem with that. For mathematical people, logic not a good thing. So always like, no, clean both sides. I mean, one has to be married, so I let her win these battles. So quietly,
Yeah.
yeah, what can I do? Yeah, poor
Okay,
guy.
people in the comments, please let us know who agrees with Cyrus about this
I don't
washing one
think
side of the plate thing.
anybody is going to
I
agree,
don't think
seriously.
anyone would. Yes, but please let us know what you think. It'll be very fun. All right, next one comes from Rohit Sharma. This is interesting, cricket related. He says, which T20 commentary does Cyrus prefer? Normal English, dugout version, or Hindi?
Yeah, I listen to all actually. It depends on my mother's TV. The select thing with the foreign commentators are on. On the outside TV, my son has the normal English commentary with Bogle and gang. And then in my where my dad is with the help, not help, what's he's minder, the guy who looks after my father. This is in Hindi, so I get to hear all three. So I'm quite abreast with everything. And yeah, the Hindi commentary is quite funny actually. It's the funniest of the three, but it's obviously too loud. So after 20 minutes, you need a break. And I like the foreign ones are better because they're a little more subtle and quiet, and they're really really neutral because mostly Indian players they're talking about, so it's good to get their perspective. But what they do is they all praise the country and the IPL because they know where their bread is buttered, and that's a fact, and that's a little sad.
Of
I wish
course,
you'd
yes.
abuse it or insult it once in a while, but no one is going to call a spade, and that's a little. But that's the way it is. It's presented as a thing where everybody's on board and they're all on the same side, and nobody ever criticizes the machinery. Which honestly, that's why podcast commentary would be the best of all. You could actually say what you want because there's no lena lena with you and the circus that's going on. But if you're part of it, you can't be objective. You just can't. It's like I can't talk about my wife, because I'm married to her. But
But
wait
I
for the day.
But I think also the fact is that the IPL has opened up a tremendous amount of opportunities for a lot of different people, right? And so, given that, I
Yep.
think that a lot of people have like genuinely like if it wasn't for the IPL, would all of these foreign cricketers be making the kind of money that they are, or even all these Indian cricketers making the kind of money that they are?
No,
Would
no,
there be
no, no.
so
There's
much
lots of
cricket op?
positives. No one's saying no. It's a money
No.
making machine. From point of commerce, it's fabulous. Everybody, we all make money. We do events on the side, some shows, shoots. Everybody makes money on it. Okay, no problem with that. I'm just saying that you can't actually look at it from a threadbare perspective because everybody has to be. It's a slightly like a mafia organization. You have to all be on the same page. You can't look
It
at it and
is.
criticize this element or that element. The 2.5 minutes strategic timeout, I find that stupid. But they do it because they want ads or for whatever reason. They've got some reason for it, but it's just dumb. It's a fast game. Why kill the pace? Cricket is always a game which struggles with pace because stop, start, stop, start. I would remove that 2.5 minutes, but I dare say anything because I mean, a person from inside will never say anything about it. They'll say, "Wow,
Right.
strategic timeout," and all the great things associated with it. Yeah, Silvery.
Like I never understand why these organizations like the IPL or FIFA are so strict about their names. Like they don't want the word Mumbai Indians to be used in other like
Yeah.
social media or something. Like I don't understand why Rajasthan Royals people
So
can't say Rajasthan Royals, people say Rajasthan instead.
they've created equity for themselves, they presume, and they don't want that equity to be shared or diluted. It stays with them, so they own everything. So the references also are there. So if you're going to take the reference of theirs, it's like if you use Sachin Tendulkar's name in your movie, then you have to pay him. So now if you're using Mumbai Indians name in your movie, you have to pay whoever. It's like that.
But isn't it good for them only if I'm talking about Mumbai Indians more as Mumbai Indians?
So I think different sports leagues have different priorities and different ways around this.
If you think you're bigger than the market, then no.
Okay.
So it really does depend on, like, how you look at the rights in these kinds of situations, right? Different leagues have different things that they allow. Like, so for example, FIFA and EPL will not allow highlights. Just generally, same with IPL, right? You cannot do highlights. Basically, if you're a fan, you can't do creations of their highlights. But look at the NBA, and what the NBA does is that if you're a fan YouTube page, if you tie up with the NBA, which costs almost no money, you can start using NBA footage for highlights and stuff like that, right? So there are different ways that different leagues approach this with different thinking, and they all have their logic around it, right? See, nobody is
Amit,
doing this without giving it due thought, but
Correct.
so they
Yeah.
all have their logic around it.
no, there's logic and commercial logic, but let's learn from it. Let's keep our name also as it's like a sort of money making proposition. So every time my name is used henceforth, even flippantly for whatever reason, I think we should be paid a premium. What do you think, Amit? On any broadcasting medium or even in public, if people are crossing the road and say,
So I think somebody should pay us some money.
yeah, if somebody's crossing the road and he says, "Hey, Cyrus," I think that should be like 1,000 rupees with GST attached. Why not? Silvery, any objections?
No, no, agreed. Totally. You should get paid every time someone uses the word Cyrus. Regardless whether they're talking about you. Even if Cyrus Sahukar, you should get it.
Of course,
No, this is
of
a really
course.
complicated issue, though. I mean, like the issue itself, when you're talking about rights and stuff like that around this stuff, it's a really, really complex issue with a lot of subtleties to it, right? I mean, like, you're allowed to do certain things, you're not allowed to do certain things. In what case does certain things constitute fair use? In what case does it not
This
constitute
is
fair use?
India. We'll figure out all this simply by a metaphor I will give you, where you have to wash your hands and shut shop and make sure you're on a lockdown. But if you're in the Kumbh Mela, you can eat outside, bathe outside, hold hands, and sing songs. So everything is possible in our lovely country. But can we do one last one because I'm being bullied on the table here?
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go to the next one. This one comes in from VB. He says, Cyrus and Company, what are your thoughts on certain celebrities tweeting about not having any fear during this pandemic and almost saying, do not stay caged at home?
You mean someone like Cyrus?
Yes, someone like Cyrus is exactly.
Yeah, other than me, who says that?
So you're for that, I guess.
Oh, 1 second, 1 second. That's the 2,000 bucks. Silvery, 2,000 bucks. Amit, 1,000 bucks. And the gentleman who obviously insinuated it was me, 500 bucks. So that's 3,500.
Okay.
That's great. Cost to company.
Tarun.
Lovely.
Tarun had an interesting comment.
But is
Yeah.
there a famous celebrity?
Okay, I don't know actually if there's any famous celebrities, but it must be if
Has
people
anyone
are-
been outspoken like that? I can't remember off the cuff.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
business people who are saying stuff like this, but I don't think that entertainment celebrities are generally keeping their mouth shut about this because, well, most people want them.
Surprisingly, Rakhi Sawant has not spoken up.
Maybe she has, but I haven't seen it. I don't know. No, but I think that people in entertainment are staying away from it because it's a complex issue, right? And basically, if you start talking too much about this,
Go
people
against the
have been taken
grain.
down over this stuff, right? You remember that Imagine song, which all the Gail Godot and all of those people had
Yes,
done,
of course. Yeah.
right? So I mean, like,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
have been kind of like,
Yeah.
"Do shut the fuck up and stay in your lane" about this stuff generally. So I think there might be not that many
Hmm?
entertainment celebrities talking about that, but I.
Shut up and dribble.
But
Is it a
it's
shut
just
up
a
and
shut
dribble
up and
moment?
dribble moment. No, but I mean, like, you're seeing it on the business side, right? Like, so I mean, like, we know that Anil Ambani's son has been very vocal about this stuff.
Yes, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Gautam Singhania has spoken about this stuff quite often. If I'm not mistaken, there have been a few people on the business side who have spoken about this, right? I mean, like, but Rahul Bajaj has spoken about this quite a few times, but not so many on the entertainment
Yeah.
side.
But we'll pick this up the next time. I want to discuss this a little more.
Okay.
The road less traveled, the ulterior, the optional thought process, the philosophy that goes against the grain. I think we need to explore it a little bit before we say no. I mean, that's what this show's all about, right? It's a very open platform. We're not
course.
fascists here. We just tell you one thing and one thing alone. Okay, guys, I have to get back to a second part of breakfast with the family. Wait. Let me say bye, Maya. I'm under a lot of pressure here. I have no standing. And remember, don't take my name in vain.
Okay, I guess that's the end of
Okay,
it.
wow, that was very. I don't know whether that was planned or not.
I think
can't- I couldn't
I
tell.
think Cyrus did not realize that if he touches his screen, that he's going to shut
Oh,
off his
it'll go.
computer. So
All
thank
right.
you, everybody. I think we're good. Yep.
Thank you so much, guys. See you soon. Bye.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
If you love cricket, listen up. The Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is here for you. Hosted by DJ, Varun, and me, Ashwin, we bring a fun, fresh fan's point of view to talking all things cricket. Sometimes it's just the three of us, sometimes we have guests, including current and former international cricketers. For new episodes every week, check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast on the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
From uncensored and unfiltered chats with the who's who of the entertainment industry, I, Siddharth Kannan, bring your very heartcake chat show called Candid Kannan. Tune in every Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.